and welcome once again to another smAshlights segment. The kind of segment where I'll talk about whatever I want, whether it's political or tech-based or whatever, we're going to cover it. Here's an article on SciTech Daily using a network of gravimeters to search for dark matter hidden inside the Earth. Hey folks, there might be weakly interacting massive particles, otherwise known as WIMPs, hidden inside the Earth. Oh my God, there's a pink elephant in there. What a joke. Almost as silly as LIGO. What do they think they're measuring? I don't really know. Anyway, the article's on SciTech Daily. If you need a laugh, go have a read of that. Let's talk about some real information. The transient X-ray outbursts from Sagittarius A star, the core of the Milky Way galaxy. Here are the data reported from the Neil Gorell Swift Bat X-ray Observatory, and we see we've actually had some quite significant upticks here in the X-ray output of Sagittarius A star. A very dense series of transients there happening, and there has been a slight uptick here in Sagittarius A star's output over the past, I don't want to say the wrong number, over the past, over the past 9 years, although we also do see low transients during that time as well. Let's take a look at the Crab pulsar. And here are the X-ray transients from the Crab pulsar. And it is sort of right in its baseline mode here, around 0.2. So you can see that's pretty normal. And lastly, let's look at Cygnus X3. Pardon the delay. There we go. And there is Cygnus X3, otherwise known as the tail of the swan Deneb. Part of the summer triangle, visible all year long in the northern hemisphere. And during the summer it never sets, it just circles Polaris. And it's coming back off of an active state once again, dropping back down to a more quiescent state. You can see the baseline is now around 0.02, and you can see right there that is more of a quiescent state. So it's been in a sort of an indecisive state here over the past several months, and we monitor that regularly as it is one of the only, if not the only, known point source for cosmic rays. If you want to follow transients yourself, check out the Neil Gorell Swift Observatory. And when you want to search for stuff, just type in that, hit Control F, and then type in Vela, for instance, and you'll find the Vela pulsar, and just click on that, and there are the transients from Vela pulsar. Another very consistent X-ray source, probably also like Crab, used to calibrate X-ray telescopes. Talk about high energy space observatory detecting a fast radio burst from a, quote, dead star, which brings up the fact that we've never seen a star die or a star born, and many astronomers arrogantly suggest that we have. It's a pretty well-known fact nowadays that stars have been known to wink out and turn back on, and so this has caused a little bit of confusion with Magnetar SGR 1935 plus 2154, a, quote, stellar remnant, which I'll just refer to as a massive radio source. And for some reason, it produced a whole bunch of radio waves. Now, this is a feature that should not happen with a, quote, dead star or a, quote, stellar remnant, because these are not things that exist. We've never seen a star die or get born. Face the facts, deal with it. And a star can stop emitting light. We're not going to get into the cosmology of it today, as it's a daily space weather video. But we've never seen a burst of radio waves resembling a fast radio burst from a magnetar before. Now, our viewers may not be surprised by this. I'm certainly not surprised by this, as I am aware of how radio waves are generated. And anyway, this part of the electromagnetic spectrum is way down at the left side there. the low energy photons in the form of radio waves. And fast radio bursts are an important part of current astronomy, cosmology, etc. Perhaps have a read. It's another SciTech Daily article. And I don't know what I've clicked on here, but the most complete 3D map of the universe I'm not concerned with. Now, if you may have noticed recently, smAsho.org has been redirecting you to this site now. And it's looking a little differently here. We've only got a couple of links on the home page, and SMASH staff will be working once again today to get this set up the way we want. So one of the links here is to the SMASH store, and the other one is to smashomash.com/forum. Please check out smashomash.com/forum if you haven't yet. And thanks to all of our new members over there, we're now up to 1,345 users, so very nice. Very nice, and thanks everybody who's posting things, such as Be Stoic. And we hope everything's doing well for you, Be Stoic. Sounded like things are looking up yesterday, and we're stoked about it for you. Now, quick little reference to super ionized water, the ultimate black ice. Turns out that when you compress water down to millions of atmospheres, it turns into a very strange substance. The oxygen moves into a lattice structure like this, where each atom of oxygen is just suspended here at distance from the other oxygen molecules, and the liquid metallic hydrogen just kind of flows around in here, making for a very odd superconducting black-colored material known as superionized water. If you're not familiar with it, it probably explains lots of the cosmology of things like gas giants, and some astronomers are actually starting to believe the fact that perhaps planets like Neptune and Uranus may have superionized water in their cores or someplace down in their mantles, which explains things like their extremely powerful geomagnetic fields. Now, of course, I would blame condensed matter for basically explaining all of cosmology, but we won't get into it today. Just understand that condensed matter physics is the way forward with astrophysics, physics, cosmology, and geophysics, because it also explains the generation of Earth's geomagnetic field and things like electron availability from Earth and from stars. Now, we are streaming live to Twitch. It's twitch.tv/smashomash. We've only got 46 subs over there, and if you want to see the content live as it comes out, these daily space weather videos are typically always streamed live to Twitch. It's twitch.tv/smashomash. For all of you on YouTube, please don't forget to press like and subscribe. Visit the links below the video and try to help support the channel if possible. And check out our links as well. There are some on here. We're also on BitChute. We've just reached 200 subscribers. And for you BitChute viewers, expect a BitChute exclusive coming soon. We're very excited about the extreme success over at BitChute, where we receive hundreds more views per day than we do on YouTube. Were you aware there was a asteroid the size of a car which just zipped by Earth in a close flyby? And when I say close, I'm not talking about in lunar distances. I'm talking about measured in miles. This thing was as close as some satellites. Let's see here. It was traveling at a speed of only 27,700 miles per hour, which isn't really that fast for an asteroid. And it's only 3 meters. It passed within the orbit of satellites in the geostationary ring. So that's an incredibly close flyby. Sunspot 2020 OI4 got as close as 25,000 miles from the Earth. And it's so close they're not even going to list it in lunar distances because, well, that's a very, very low number of lunar distances. That story's on space.com. By the way, thanks to our patrons, we've now got 9 different tiers for our patrons. Originally, we only had the intro tier and the gold member, and now we've got all the way up to the condensed matter squared tier, as well as intro squared, intro cubed, the elemental tier, the spirit tier, the elemental plus tier, intro to the 7th power, 70, 99ths of the gold tier, etc. Thanks to our patrons for being the true source of funding for the content, as we make about 2 cents per hour via Google AdSense making these videos, as we are buried in search algorithms, I think Google thinks that we're right-wing, because that is how pathetic and idiotic the algorithms of Google are. Very similar to Facebook in how censored you'll be based on untrue expectations of your political stance. We're also on Subscribestar. Please visit the other links also below the videos. Let's talk about fraud. Oh yeah. Florida man used PPP loans to buy Lamborghini Huracan and goes on spending spree, staying in luxury Miami resorts. What is this all about? Well, it's about the government bailouts. As the government bailouts benefited the rich in massive ways, people like hedge fund managers who didn't need any of the money decided to cash in anyway. Isn't that great? So as the poorest people have your money inflated, the richest people are buying Lambos and heading to luxury resorts in Miami. And this is the kind of fraud that happens at the government level and at the corporate level because of corporate welfare. Yes, that's right. Here's another article on Zero Hedge about currency debasement, which is what's causing your inflation. And by the way, I'll be asking for a raise probably today at my job. And the reason I put it in quotes is because I'm what you call essential personnel. And what I do is I'm part of the administrative department for a food safety testing company. And we receive about half of our samples through shipping and the other half of the samples through pickups. So our couriers are the only people who drive all around and go to our clients. We're typically the only people that ever meet our clients. Anyway, this year's raise request proposal will include 10% simply for inflation. So the rest of my raise will be just on top of the 10%. We're expecting inflation to be at least 10% as a result of so much money printing. If you weren't aware, there are no fractional reserve requirements anymore in U.S. banking, which means banks can loan out an unlimited amount of money. Money is no longer even printed. It's just zeros on a computer screen, folks. And this is what has caused gold to be at a historic valuation in comparison to the dollar. Now, 2 years ago or so, I would have told you that the dollar has been reduced in value by 97% since 1913, when the Federal Reserve Act was signed into law on December 23rd by Woodrow Wilson. However, now it's certainly much, much worse than that. We're expecting at least 10% inflation rate year over year. And so if you're asking for a raise, if you want an actual raise, an 11% raise amounts to a 1% raise due to what's going to happen to the purchasing power of your dollars. And by the way, inflation is a hidden tax that hurts the poor and the elderly much worse than anybody else. So the dollar's being debased, and while it's not being debased as bad as other currencies, because check it out, the dollar's going up versus other currencies. But look what it's doing versus gold. That's because other currencies are worse, but the U.S. currency is also bad. So U.S. sovereignty and the U.S. stock market has not evaporated yet. However, the value of the dollars is evaporating. So watch those precious metals. They're not made in China. Let's talk about Chida. Have you learned how to say Chida? You got to say it at the top of your face. Now, Broadway actors, singers, they're taught to project their voice from the bottom of their pelvis. When you say Chida, you want to say it at the top of your face. Chida, as if you have a sinus infection. Perhaps sinus infections, are they made in Chida? Well, I don't know. Let's talk about Joe Biden's brain. It seems to be barely functional. It's made in Chida. And this is why his VP pick will be so important. Here's some notes on Kamala Harris. Do not hold grudges. I don't know what the rest says. It looks like a bunch of chicken scratch. Here's an article on USA Today about Joe Biden's notes, revealing talking points about Kamala Harris. The other points were campaigned with me and Jill. I guess he couldn't remember that. Talented. I guess he couldn't remember that. Great help to campaign. Great respect for her. Wow, Joe. I think your memory might be playing an issue with your ability to be president. Just saying. And by the way, if you're going to pick Kamala Harris, well done. Nobody likes Kamala Harris. And if you're surprised that a bunch of Bernie bros are burning down buildings right now, they warned this would happen if Bernie did not get the Democratic nomination. So it's completely insane. And this VP pick is not going to get Joe elected. Nothing is going to get Joe elected. And personally, I feel terribly for Joe Biden. He should be retired long ago. Let's talk about fraud in big tech. Have you noticed some problems with commerce? Well, were you aware that companies like Amazon, Google, and Facebook are helping with fraud, intellectual capital theft, and counterfeiting? It's true, folks. It's true. So here's a story about some expensive shoes. And it's also on Zero Hedge. It's zerohedge.com. The brand Rothy has been hijacked. And Facebook is not going to do anything about it. So in any case, there are all kinds of fraud all over the internet. Be careful of what you buy. If you see an offer that's too good to be true, it probably is. And I'll tell you what's not too good to be true. Those shirts, they're not made in Chida. And we do have all that to offer now. You've got 4 different products. So you've got, first of all, you've got Smasher Price, My First Pandemic. The t-shirts are $24.99 plus shipping, and you'll save on shipping for additional units. It also advertises smashamash.org. You can also get the I've Survived a Global Pandemic So Far Grim Reaper design with the giant planetary-sized coronavirus covering up everything that you do here at the smAsho store. So you've got the first release was the black shirt, and we've got multiple colored shirts, leggings, and the I Survived shirt. So there are the leggings. They actually come in purple and gold and black. So secure yourself a pair of those if you like. Those are $44.99 plus shipping. And there's the I Survived a Global Pandemic So Far shirt. Also comes in gold and purple. Why? Because those are my current cycling team colors. The smAsho shirt color comes in purple, orange, gold, red, lime green, and pink. If you need to reach me for a breaking news story or just to send me a photograph, if you'd like something featured on the channel, just send me a text or give me a call at country code +1, area code 610-936-9799. That's country code 1, area code 610-936-9799. And thanks for tuning into another episode of smAshlights during this daily space weather smAsho stream. And let's move on to some other things. All right.